Welcome back to The Outlet.
Hey guys, our guest today, her name is Allie Chapman. Welcome to the show, Allie.
Hi, thank you for having me today.
So let's dive right into it. How does it feel to be a little person living in LA and working in Hollywood?
It's been very interesting to say the least. Being a little person, there's definitely a niche. I think that's how they say it, a niche. Somebody like me can't just go out for roles that are typically cast. Like, there might be like a casting for like, a woman that's like between the height of like 5'1" and 5'8", you know, all ethnicities. But again, it's 5'1", 5'8", and that's not me. So usually in my experience, the roles that I were able to get since I've been acting usually are cast in the way or listed in the way, I should say, as like little people roles. For some reason, Hollywood can't just see a little person in a coffee shop or a little person as a pharmacist.
I see.
In a commercial, or a little person in a starring role in like a thriller or something like that.
So do you feel labeled?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely labeled, typecast, all the above. Again, like I said, I can't just go out for anything, but I do believe I should be able to.
Oh, of course.
That's my whole thought process, because in real life, I really do go to a coffee shop. I really have worked in a store as a retail salesperson.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why that can't be portrayed, in commercials, TV.
In like a real life situation.
Yeah, in real life, because these are things that I do, other little people, and not just little people, but other people with disabilities. Like, we all do quote unquote normal things. And so I'm not sure why Hollywood insist or often typecast us as like elves or leprechauns, or I've done a lot of character work. I've been in a bear suit playing a baby bear, and that's okay. I mean, I do understand the need for those things, but I think Hollywood just needs to be fair. So if you're going to have roles like that, have just as many for someone like me in my situation as just doing normal everyday things. Or don't be afraid to cast us in a major role. There is one actor that is kind of had a breakthrough.
Okay.
That's a little person everybody knows, Peter Dinklage from Game of Thrones.
Yes.
That's his most popular role, but he's done other feature films, which I think is great. I mean, he's kind of paving the way for people like me.
Yeah, he does a lot of motivational speaking as well.
Yeah, he does. But, there's just one of him. And it's cool because he is such a phenomenal actor that you almost forget that he's a little person. I mean, when you're watching him, I think a lot of times people just forget that he is a little person. And so I'm definitely not taking away from that. And kudos to him. I'm glad that he's, like I said, paved the way and doing so well. But like I said, there's just one of him, and I feel like there can be many of us. So,
of course, definitely.
Yeah.
Have you done any stand-in roles for, stand-ins for doubles? I remember you saying something about that one day.
Yeah.
About the movie.
I did. My biggest, I don't know if you would say my biggest role, but I would say the biggest production that I worked on was doing stand-in body double work. And of course it was for a child, which is great. I mean, I get it. You can't have a child on set working long hours. You would need someone to stand in a body double for them. I got lucky. The child that I was standing in for was Will Smith's daughter in I Am Legend. And that's why I said that was the biggest production as far as budget and, like just the craziness of the set. So it was crazy because that was my first role I've ever done. Ever. Ever. I've never had, prior to that, I'd never been on a set. That was in 2007. And I had not moved to LA yet. I was actually living in Indianapolis, where I'm from at the time. So, of course, I had to go to New York and stay there for like almost 2 months to fill in for Will's daughter, Willow is her name. But yeah, that was the first and biggest thing I've ever done.
That's pretty good. That's a huge door to open for your first role ever, Some people wait years to get into something like that.
Yeah, yeah, it was great. It was phenomenal, and just being on set and working so close to the family, and like like I said, I'm his daughter, so when she's not doing it, it was me. So like I'm like, yeah, Will, you can pick me up. Like, oh, the director says we need to do this scene 20 times in a row. I'm okay with that, like pick me up as much as you want, Will.
How was it working with Will?
Oh my God, it was great. Like I said, I had never really even met a celebrity before. I'd never been on set. So for that to be my first role and to work with someone as big as him, like literally it was, I think about that time period often, and it was literally one of the best things ever. And they treated me like family, and I was, with them on set daily, conversating and hanging out, and it was just amazing. They're, Will and Jada and Willow. I mean, they're all just like so amazing, and it was so cool to work with them.
Yeah, that was a great movie. Remember that? Wow, that was amazing.
Right?
That was awesome. So, like, what's the pros and cons of being a little person?
The pros and cons. Okay, well, I'll start with the negative and end on a positive. So the cons again.
I think it's all positive.
It's all positive.
I don't like to say pros and cons, but
Yeah,
just little things.
Yeah, I mean, pros, cons, obstacles, or perks. It's all the same. But just note, or just touching on some of the obstacles. I mean, again, in this industry, I can't, like I said, I'm limited on the things that I get, that come before me, like as far as like roles. Like Hollywood's not there yet, so I can't just go out for, a woman between the age of 25 and 50. Like, it's just not happening, but that's okay. So that I'm a little limited there. Limited, and then just in general, being a little person. I mean, obviously, I can't reach everything. I was doing laundry last night, and I'm on a stool. Even when I cook, and my place is not modified for me, so. Until I make the big bucks, I will have everything where I won't have to struggle. But for now, I do everything like everybody else. I just have to do it differently. So, reaching things is always an obstacle for me. Just clothes. Oh my gosh, or oh my God, all of that.
Buying clothes.
Buying clothes, yeah, that's why I'm so animated about that, because it can be a challenge. I mean. Luckily, when I was younger, when I'm a teenager, like the clothes I want to wear, like that all my friends are wearing, my clothes have like teddy bears on them and like, little kid shit. And I'm like, no, I'm like 16.
Yeah, of course.
I don't want to
like a dress, a nice sundress or something.
Yeah, and then as like girls get older, they want to like wear high heels, and so none of that was available to me. I mean, it was really a challenge to try to look age appropriate, but yet be a little person. Now I will tell you, as I've gotten older, I mean, I won't say exactly how old I am, but I'm up there. But now things have gotten better. I mean, as you know, like. You look at like TV or go to the mall, and like kids' clothes look like their mom's clothes, which yeah, like I mean, I don't know like if that's good or bad, but for me it's great, because I mean, I wear kid sizes, so obviously I want to look hot, I want to go out and I want to look hot or sexy, or
of course, yeah.
Definitely. So it's gotten better. I mean, it was not good at first, but so that would be definitely an obstacle. Clothes, reaching things. Even prior to acting, just working in general. I mean, there were a lot of jobs I felt like I would go for and was qualified for, but I feel like there was some prejudice, or like there was like some discrimination.
Did you ever get that on set? Like people look at you like differently?
Yeah,
you feel the vibe, right?
Yeah,
like
you feel the vibes.
You can definitely feel it.
Yeah, you feel the vibes. You feel like people think that you're not because you're little. I think sometimes people equate size to intelligence. And I think that a lot of people, I don't want to say a lot of people, but some people, I think that, someone of my stature, small stature, might not be as smart as I think I am, so I've been, I've had my fair share of discrimination. Another thing too, people looking, staring. Now, luckily for me, don't want to toot my own horn, but I'm kind of on the decent looking side.
Oh, of course. You're beautiful.
Thank you. I mean, many people have given me compliments that I'm cute or beautiful. So I will say I do
Just saying, fellas.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I do get my fair share of staring though. I mean, I can be out in public, people stare and look, but I don't think people are necessarily being mean. I think, well, for me, like the type of dwarfism I have is not what you typically see. So what you typically see is people that have what's called achondroplasia. I don't have that. So meaning I am proportioned. So like a lot of little people you'll see have like longer torsos, shorter limbs. So you can kind of tell, even if you're behind them, you can tell that is a little person. Me, on the other hand, I think why a lot of people might stare and look is because if you're behind me, you might think I'm a child. And imagine seeing like someone 3'8" walking down the street and you're behind them. Like you're going to catch up to them and you're going to look because you're like, holy shit, is there a kid? Like, and I've had that. I was in downtown LA one time and someone yelled out the window like, oh my God, where's your mom? And I didn't even realize what they were saying. And then I looked up and I got what he was saying. And then when he saw my face, that my face is a dead giveaway. So then they're like, oh, people like feel stupid. But anyway, people do stare a lot. People do look. But luckily with me, people, for the most part, some people just stare and they're ignorant about it. They stare for too long. I always say, look, but don't stare.
Do you ever speak back to him? Like, what the hell are you looking at?
Yeah, I've been vocal lately. Lately, I've been like, I was in the airport the other day and this guy was just staring at me. And I'm finally like, I used to not say stuff like this, but I called him out.
What'd you say?
I go, what are you staring at? Like, and then I did one of these, like,
Ooh, yeah.
like
an emoji?
Yeah. And then he quit staring. But I think I'm going to get a t-shirt made that's going to say, don't stare, or like, look, but don't stare, or like a hat or something.
Yeah.
But people are really, people show their ignorance sometimes. But I will say again, I've had my share of it. But then I've had, people say, oh, well, I was staring because you're so cute or you're so pretty.
Of course. Yeah.
And then, so if I'm an asshole to them, then I feel bad.
Yeah.
Because then they're giving me a compliment.
Of course.
Yeah. So those are some of the obstacles. The good part of it is that no one looks like me.
There's only one of you.
There's only one of me. You can't mistake me for anyone.
No one.
No. I always say this. A lot of times in life, people do things, and I'm not saying this in a negative way, but a lot of times people do things, whether it's like get huge in the gym or like get a bunch of tattoos or get like a mohawk or dye your hair green. Like, and I'm not saying people are doing that to get attention. I think genuinely a lot of people are doing that just because they're being an individual, and it represents their personality.
Trying to express.
Yeah, exactly. But like with me, I don't have to. I mean, I do have a tattoo, but like I don't have to do it's on my back. You can't see
your
it.
whole back is tatted.
Yeah, I mean, it's on my back. But the thing is with me, I don't have to do any of those things. Yeah. I immediately step out of my house and I'm on. Like, and when I say I'm on, it's almost like, it's weird being me because it's almost like a show. It's like I walk out and immediately I know I have to adjust myself to stares or looks, comments. I mean, usually the comments are positive. I've only had a couple times where they've been negative, but again, I'm on. Like the minute I leave my house, people are taking notice, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just I am different, and so, but being different is good. We live in a time period where being different, being an individual is actually a good thing. So I don't have to try for those things. I just am, Also, I always say, people say there's like There's like, oh, you're playing the black card or the woman card. Like there's a thing as such thing as like the little people card, and I use it. Like I use it. Like I have gotten so many cool things happen to me because I'm little. I have gotten into like parties that like were like VIP only. I just because of being little, I have gotten, if you check out my Instagram, I have, pictures with every celebrity you can imagine. And that's because like sometimes a celebrity might tell other people no just because they're tired or they've been doing it all day. But like me, like I rarely get told no. Like celebrities are always like, okay, they're down for a picture.
And you
with
can
me.
handle your alcohol. You can drink a whole bottle of Don Julio. Like
That
it's
was
nothing.
the old me. Not anymore. Hence is why I didn't make our last podcast.
Yeah.
Somebody overdid it, but no, that is definitely the old me. No,
For sure.
I think in my younger 20s and 30s, I've definitely, I don't know where all that alcohol went, but I was able to put it down. I can't do it anymore. I'm getting old, but so that would definitely be a con. Like
Yeah.
me being little, I can't handle liquor like that. But yeah, no, I've gotten a lot of great attention because of being little. I've gotten roles that, like as much as I complain, oh, I can't be, a woman and, they want like a woman that's 5 feet between 5 feet and 5'8". Like I complain about that, but at the same time, it's actually okay because I have gotten role like only I could have got that role like where Will Smith's picking me up 30 times a day on set. Like if I was an average sized woman, he can't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so I've gotten so many amazing great things that's happened to me because I am who I am, and I'm at a point now where I wouldn't there was probably a point in my earlier years, like especially high school
And
and
even as a kid, like you were like, why can't I do these type of things, or why can't I do this? Or
yeah,
that?
exactly.
A lot of questioning.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a lot of things that I realized I wouldn't be able to do, and it sucked because you want to do what everybody else is doing, you want to fit in, but so I struggled with that like earlier in my life. I was like, wow, like life is probably not going to be that great for me. I can't do this, I can't do that, but I don't know. It's ended up being great. And I will say a majority of the things I can do, I just have to do it different. I mean, obviously I can't be like a supermodel on the New York runway or, stuff like that. But I have been on a runway. That's the thing about it. I will say the world is adapting and the world is changing. Some of the things I never thought I would be able to do, I actually have been able to do. And
You accomplished a lot. I mean, look how far you came.
thank you.
It's great. I mean, and so many people complain, and I just love your positivity. It's beautiful. It really is.
Thank you. Thank you.
How do you actually feel about that when you hear people complaining, like in the industry or outside? Oh, my coffee's too hot. Just little complaints here and there, and you're probably like,
Yes. Well, I will tell you that for me personally,
yes,
confidence in my confidence, especially being a little person, didn't start out that way. Like I said, I was growing up, I was very like I thought about the future and it scared the crap out of me, to be honest with you. I'm like, because I was like, oh, I'm not going to be able to drive, and I'm not going to, have a boyfriend. I'm not going to have kids. I'm not going to do this, have a job. Like I really just thought no one would accept me for anything. So the confidence was not there. But I will say with age and wisdom, the confidence kicked in, especially as I was able to accomplish more things, like things I thought I couldn't do, like, oh, okay, I drove a car. Okay, I got a job. Like with being able to get the things, one by one that I thought I wouldn't get, I think the confidence grew with that. So I will say if anyone is, down or out or not feeling it or feeling themselves, I just want to say, and this isn't a pity party for me because I think I'm great, but I just want to say if somebody that's my age and a complete adult in the body of a 3'8" human being, if I can go out there and do all of the things that I've done and things that I want to do, because I'm completely not done yet. There's so much I want to do. But if I'm able to do those things, then I just want to let your viewers know, if I got this, you got this too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just sitting down and complaining, I hate my life, I hate my job, I hate my relationship. I mean, just get out of and just start being yourself. And that's the
Yes.
best advice you can give.
Yeah. And I want to add to that too. You just struck on something because a lot of things I have done and had, I hated those things too. I mean, even when I had a job, like a regular job. I mean, I remember I was like a leasing agent for 5 years, and I was at the time, I was so happy that they hired someone like me. But then, as I was in that job and I grew into that job, I began to not like it, just because I felt like there was something. I just hated. I didn't like it, just like anybody else doesn't
You
like their
started
job.
to figure out your worth.
Yeah, exactly. So whether I'm a little person or whether somebody else is or not, I mean, there's always things that we're not going to like you said, a relationship, a job, where we live. But also, it doesn't even matter like who you are. It doesn't even matter like me being me. I highly say that anything that you don't like in life is so short. I mean, especially through what's going on now, I realize how life is so short for all of us. And so anything that you're not happy with, like, just write it down, figure out your plan, make a goal. If you want a new job, write it down. What do you want to do? Figure out how to make that happen. I have made so many life changes. I have, gotten rid of old relationships I was in. I have moved away from a city I just outgrew. I have had, great job changes to where now I'm an actress. And all of that came with just deciding that I didn't like these things anymore. I didn't like the way they made me feel. And also I realized time is ticking. And it's looking back, it's kind of like, wow. I mean, and not that I feel like, oh, I'm there. There's still things I have to do. But looking back at my old life to now, it's like, wow, it's amazing I'm where I'm at now. But all of it came from just deciding I didn't like where I was. And I was
Stepping out the box, popping the bubble,
yeah, absolutely.
doing what you finally want to do in life.
Yeah.
And it just starts coming your way. How's the dating life? How's dating life going?
Oh, that's such a good question. I talk to my average sized girlfriends and even my guy friends, and okay, isn't dating for all of us just kind of like crappy?
Or I mean, with COVID, yes, and also
Yeah.
LA, it's so different in LA.
I mean, it was already crappy before COVID, and then like now you throw COVID in the mix, and it's like, whoa. But I mean, I just think dating in our time period is, it's not like when our parents and grandparents, like, it's just different. People are a lot of times not who they say they are, or things.
Oh, trust me.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
yeah, I'm sure that people are not who they say they are, and we live in an era also where there's Instagram and there's Facebook, and there's always there's a lot of distractions and a lot of temptation, and so I think for all of us, dating is not always a picnic, but try all of that and then be a little person too,
Yeah.
and trying to date. So I'm in my very, very early 40s, but dating for me, someone like me has been very interesting. So I've always dated average sized men. That's just my preference. Maybe it's a little hypocritical, but
Not at all.
I mean, we like what we like, you know
Of
what
course.
I mean? But the thing about it, as much as I say I've always dated average sized men, I was married once, and I'm actually married a little person.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that.
Back home?
No, actually here.
Okay.
Yeah, actually here when I first landed here. here in LA. But so I gave it a try because I didn't want to be a total hypocrite. Like, because like I like average sized men, but I know a lot of times I am not. I have no problem getting attention, and I have no problem getting hit on. But the thing is, I always want to try to use discretion because I'm trying to figure out, and this is such a thing. A lot of guys come at me or approach me because it's one of those things like, oh, I've never tried that before. I've never been with a little person. So it's like I'm good enough for them to be with maybe intimately, but not good enough for them to see me as a girlfriend or wife, you know? And so I have to really try to recognize the difference
Yeah.
because, you know, there are guys that are just going for that. And I that's not what I, you know, I'm like, I get it. I understand. I mean, there's you know, there's things that turn us on or we want to try, but at the same time, like, I'm a human being. I'm a person. I might be small in stature, but I'm just like any other woman, like capable of like loving and caring about somebody. And so I don't want you to see me as a fetish or like a thing to do, you know? So I have to, so I've run into that a lot. But on the flip side, I have also, you know, dated average sized men that, I mean, I've had like real relationships where
Going out to dinner, shopping,
Yeah.
holding hands, walking down the street.
absolutely. There's that's the thing about it. I mean, if I am dating average sized men, it is going to take a special person because you would need to have your own self confidence. Because, like I said, of course we're going to get stares, we're going to get looks, you might hear comments. You're also going to get your friends and family on the side being like, "What are you doing? Like, is this what you like?" Like, I get it. Like, it's not something that you see every day, and it's like, I get it. And I've had ex-boyfriends that luckily they were cool because I mean they got the comments from their friends and family, but they didn't care. They liked me for who I am, and that wasn't an issue for them. And so, you know, kudos to those guys. But anyway, I going backwards, I did marry someone that was a little person because, like I said, I don't want to be discriminated against for what I normally like. So I didn't want to be a hypocrite because I'm like, oh, I don't normally like little guys. So I'm like, no. So I met this one individual and I gave it a try all the way to the altar, which is crazy because I never thought that I would ever date, let alone marry a little person. But I did. Now, it didn't, you know, obviously
Did it
it didn't
just
work
stop
out.
at the altar?
How would you say?
Did it stop at the altar?
It should have.
You
It
just
should have
wanted
stopped before I came
Brandon's-
down to the altar.
See ya.
I should have just like, you know, made everybody like, where is she?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, she's not coming. Yeah, I you know, we all make mistakes, but
Of
you know,
course.
I don't regret it. Like I said, I tried it, and it was kind of cool. In some aspects, it was cool because that was the first little person I'd ever been with, dated, whatever, married, and so it was kind of cool for once you're looking at somebody in their eyes. You know, I'm not used to that. I'm used to looking up, but so, and it was cool because we had the same things that we dealt with in life, so we kind of could relate to each other's situation. So it was cool, and I'm so glad I tried it. And you know, but anyway, life moves on. It didn't work out, and it's cool. So now I think I'm back to my original preference. So yeah, so dating, but yeah, like you said, now there's COVID. And so I guess for the most part, I've kind of put dating on the back burner.
A lot.
Yeah, this isn't like the best time to try to like date, especially here in California. Like, restaurants are shut down. What are we gonna do? Like,
I remember my first time coming out to Cali, and I tried dating, and I wanted to take this girl out to dinner. I wanted to do the whole shebang, right? And
Yeah.
she's like, "No, just come over to my house. You know, we don't have to eat dinner. Just let's hang out and just hang out in bed and watch a movie." I'm just like, you know, what's going on here? Like, it's totally different. You know, you don't meet the family, you don't do any of that. It's
Yeah.
just straight to the point.
I know.
And you probably talk to them for 2 or 3 days, and they just ghost. They disappear.
Yeah.
You know, some guys they love that, some guys they hate it, but you know,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
how I feel a lot of dating
Right.
has been out here. You talk to them for a couple days and just slowly disappear.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, it's just different right now. So
Yeah.
yeah, for all of us. So like I said, I'm kind of more focused on other things right now. So I'm gonna put that aside. And like I said, when that comes back around again, I know the universe has a special person for me, and I know that I'm not. It's like the least thing
That's the
I'm
last on
looking
your
for
mind,
right
of
now.
course.
Yeah, I'm really just focused on my goals and stuff.
So
But
let's talk business then. What do you see in the future for your film business?
actually, so when COVID first happened, and the world was just like so crazy. I mean, I think we were all depressed and sad and locked in our homes, and like now what? For me, I lost all my jobs. I had 3, and I went to 0. So I said I can take this opportunity to either drink, smoke, sleep, and eat, and just
Hibernate, fall into a depression.
absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, I was like, I can do that, or I could instead become creative. And so I've always wanted to tell my story as a little person, like growing up, and also a little person finding discovering entertainment
Oh, okay.
acting. And then also telling my story of leaving the Midwest, coming to the big city of LA. I mean, no family. I mean, I had a husband for a little bit of that, but basically on my own. And then I wanted to tell the story, too, of like some of the opportunities that I've received, but also a lot of the opportunities that I want that I can't get just because of who I am. I also want to tell the story of what does someone like me have to do in the meantime to pay bills, to pay rent, to keep a roof over her head. It's a great story, but I wanted to share it. So what I ended up doing is I produced it. I co-wrote it with a friend of mine that helped out. She also guest directed, and so a couple months after March, I got it all together, got a script, and then I started hiring actors. Now that was challenging because again, we're in quarantine, COVID, like we're all supposed to be using precautions and being
I remember
safe.
seeing this. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I did it to the best I could, and I hired some friends. Some people I didn't hire. Some people were just my friends. But anyway, long story short, I wrote a story about myself, and I shot it, and it's already done. I won't say the name yet. It's a great title. I'm gonna save it for when I release it. So basically, it's going to be a short film. It's a short film, but the end goal is to take it to
Netflix or have it get picked up on a major platform.
Absolutely. I would love to see this turn into a TV series, just because it's crazy, it's wild. It's definitely some things you've never seen before.
Of course. I mean, I see you on social media, and I mean, just
Yeah.
seeing that is
Thank you.
a great movie in itself, and it's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Thank you. You're gonna love it. I can't wait to share it with you. I'll definitely be sending it over to you. But anyway, like I said, I would love to. I mean, I don't know where it'll go, but just the fact that I wrote my first short and produced it and shot it, that is like such a big thing for me. And to do it during a pandemic, also, I'm kind of like a little bit patting myself on the back,
Yeah.
But it's my life, and my life has been pretty good and bad, but it's good. It's all good, and I just can't wait to see where this project might go.
But yeah.
Yeah, I would just love to see my own story come to life and to share with others.
And in Hollywood, for people to portray you differently,
Thank you. Yeah.
that would be the best.
Yeah. Fingers crossed, and, prayers. And I meditate over it. I pray over it, and, definitely keep my fingers crossed. And I feel like it's time.
Definitely. So is there anything else you would like to share, Allie, with the viewers and listeners?
No, other than, I just so happy to be here today, and I think you have a great platform. You're such a positive person. We know each other, and you've always been so upbeat and positive, even during times that were, looked a little, didn't always look like the
Good,
best
yeah.
situations, but I really just, admire you as a person and what you're doing now. Like, how cool. Like when we first met, you were not doing this podcast. And
No, not at all.
yeah.
Well, that's what makes us different. I mean, look what in COVID, when COVID. I mean, COVID is still going on, but when that was happening, COVID, you were out filming, you were out doing these things. When COVID hit me, I mean, hit all of us. What I was doing, I was walking the beach from Venice to Malibu, and I was out and about, and I was networking. I was talking to people, while other people were sitting home and filling their basements or their closets with toilet paper and fear and scared. We were out, and we were this is grinding time for us. This is hustle. This is for us to express who and what we really are.
Yeah. It's almost like, I mean, don't get me wrong. This is a terrible situation. It is a pandemic. It's horrible. I mean, people have lost their lives, and it's real, and it's horrible. But but one thing I will say, because I always try to look for the positive in everything, and the positive that I take away from this is that, had this not have happened, I would have just kept working my 3 jobs and not been in a creative space where I made my own short film. And just like with you, I know you were super busy with the jobs that you were doing. Would you have had time to actually come up with, you're doing this like amazing podcast? And that's what I'm saying. Like, so there is always a positive in everything that is tragic. And,
It's just growth,
yeah,
pure growth. That's it.
exactly.
When it crumbles, it regrows.
Absolutely.
Just the basics of life, the
Absol-
fundamentals.
Yeah, absolutely. And so yeah, so for anyone listening, and anyone that's been, touched by this pandemic or affected by this pandemic, again, my heart goes out to anyone, but just try to find the positive in everything, and always know that what is down must go up, and everything will get better, and just, stay positive. And, again, I admire your positivity. You're always like,
Thank
so
you.
upbeat in everything
Seriously,
you do,
thank
and
you
I'm
so
so
much.
happy for you. And thanks for having me.
Thank you. Is there any platforms that you would like to share with the listeners?
Sure, yeah. You can find me. I'm on a couple different. I mean, everybody's on social media these days. I'm on Instagram. I probably use that the most. It's Miss Amazing Allie, and I'll tell you, it's MISS. Amazing, and then Allie is just like ALI, and that is the same for Twitter as well. So Miss Amazing Allie, and then also, I mean, I am on Facebook. I always use my fan page, and that is under Allie Chapman with a P, and I think that covers most of my social media. So definitely, if you have any questions or whatever, want to follow me and just see what I'm up to, please feel free.
Thank you so much, Allie. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks again for having me.
Thank you for listening to The Outlet.